It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Another solid, epic night of wrestling. AEW Dynamite was incredible tonight. I thought the show was fantastic from start to finish. And also NXT was pretty great as well tonight. There are a couple things that I do want to talk about for NXT as we go into NXT TakeOver weekend as well. But man, what did you guys think of the shows tonight? What did you guys think of the shows tonight? I'm very interested in seeing what the ratings are tomorrow. More than anything, how much has the Forbidden Door opening up helped AEW? And has it hurt NXT whatsoever? Will they be able to maintain their footing? Or are they going to get crushed? I'm very, very interested in seeing how all of that plays out tomorrow. Let's see here. Obi James says, don't worry about the inner circle, guys. Everything is fine. Yes, everything is fine. I promise everything is fine. Marcel says the Trump trial thing may affect the shows. Oh, that's right. There's the impeachment stuff going on right now, isn't there? Dude, that would be a huge shame. That would be a huge shame if both shows are down this week. Oh, after all this. Marcel says AEW ruled, baby. Hell yeah, man. I loved the show tonight. I thought it was great. Basili says, oh God, please no politics. Yeah, I will never talk about politics ever. Period. I don't like them. Period whatsoever. So I have no interest in speaking about them. Other than just in, that's going on. Carlos says, what a night to be a Wednesday night wrestling fan. I couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't agree more. And it just even further cements the fact that one of these shows needs to go on a different night. Please. Please. Please, NXT, just move to Thursday. Please, for the love of God. This would be so much better if we could all just hang out, relax, and just chill and watch Dynamite. And then tomorrow we could just relax and chill and watch NXT. I would love it. I would love it so much. Kenneth says, hashtag where's Ethan Page? I don't know. He posted something on Twitter a while ago that he's in like a white room or something. Maybe it's like a rebirth of some sort. I honestly thought that the Impact stuff was a work about how he didn't like any of the stuff going on for that Karate Man match. I figured all of that was a work and that they were going to kill off Ethan Page and then they were just going to have Karate Man. I don't know. Maybe that is still going to happen, but I have no idea. James Wheeler, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see all of you guys as well. Let me go here. Let me go through here. Jeremy, Philip, good to see you. Nova, good to see you as well, my friend. Flash, Vin, Ismail, Marcel, Basili, good to see you guys. OB James, James Wheeler, Jaden, Warrior Nation, always good to see you guys. Let's see here. I saw it first. Andre, Carlos, Miley Man, if I'm pronouncing that right. Jared, good to see you. He says, every Wednesday you all should grab some snacks and drinks. AEW and NXT ruled. I 100% agree with you, man. 100%. I thought both shows were very good tonight. And I really enjoyed Dynamite. I really enjoyed Dynamite a lot. Leroy says, I just heard that the dude that's been stalking Alexa Bliss is trying to stalk Sonya Deville and Scarlett. Yeah, here's the thing. Let me touch on that really quick. I really wish that people would stop giving this guy attention. That's clearly what they're after, right? They're clearly seeking attention from someone. And when people continue to report these kind of things and retweet their stuff, and even, even just quote tweeting and talking negatively to them, that's what they want. They want all of this attention. So everyone should just leave this person alone and pretend that they don't exist. You can report their posts. Don't quote tweet them and tell them that they're an asshole or anything like that. You're just feeding in. You're just playing into it. Obviously, the police have been reported, so I would just let them take care of it. And like I said, the more you feed into it, the more that he's going to get what he wants, and the more that he's going to keep up the shenanigans as well. That's my take. I saw it first says, wow, what a show. Hands down, AEW has the best wrestling product on any level. Hard to disagree with you. There. Barura says, what if Pride and Powerful get a sneaky win leading to MJF and Jericho versus Santana and Ortiz at Revolution, where Sammy costs MJF and Jericho the match? You might be onto something, and we're definitely going to talk about that tonight. Hoodie, how you doing, my friend? Always good to see you as well. Jared says, Nemeth getting the Lana treatment. Well, I mean, he's not really signed to them. To my knowledge. And, hey, I wouldn't complain about being able to get on national TV as well. I could definitely see him end up signing with the company. For sure. They call me Nova says, forget AEW and NXT. The real moneymaker is top merch seller Bad Bunny. Yeah, so apparently Bad Bunny had the top 4 merch sales for WWE. Number 5 was Roman Reigns, I believe, if I remember that correctly. Chloe says, is that the great AEW that's live right now? Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Leroy couldn't watch because your TV stopped working. Man, I'm sorry to hear about that. These were great shows. You should be able to go on like their Twitter and stuff and see what's going on with them. I saw something that I wanted to read. Marcel says New Japan had a big show yesterday and they did the most WWE thing ever. It was so bad. Take a guess. The most WWE thing. Oh man, there's a lot. I would go with a DQ, a roll up, a celebrity becoming a champion, or announcing something and then just pretending like they never did. Those would be my guesses, but I have no idea. Ernesto says, I think they're about to push Sammy to the moon. I would agree with that. I would 100% agree with that. Molly says, did you hear John Cena respond to what The Undertaker said about WWE being soft? If not, then I can just message it to you on Instagram. No, I did not. I did not see that. Feel free to shoot it over, or feel free just to put it down in chat. Yeah, Sammy is going to be a top babyface, 100%. I could see Sammy having a huge TNT Championship run. For sure. Marcel says they had a tag title match that went 30 minutes with a million interference and comedy, and it ended in a DQ. Wow. With who? With Guerrillas of Destiny? They're the tag team champions, aren't they? Ugh. Obi James says you need to get a soundboard of my hole. We could do that. L from, oh god, I'm gonna butcher this. I apologize. L Fermentado says, is Sammy going to Impact? It's a very good question you have there. That is a very good question, and we're gonna talk about it. Swayze says Kenny Omega hasn't lost ever since he became the AEW champion. No, he has not. Nope. Kenny has been undefeated for quite a while now. So the New Japan match was Guerrillas of Destiny versus Zack Sabre and Taich. Wrestle Kingdom rematch. Oh, wow. Oh. Dropping my water. Can't drop my water. Crazy. I hate it when people do that. It's interesting to see New Japan do that. Do I think we're going to see Carlito at the Elimination Chamber? I don't think so. I get, for Carlito, I would wait to see what happens. I'm sure we'll hear some sort of news thing about him being a producer, if he's going to stick around or something. Hoodie says, can you do the some good shit voiceover? Yeah, I got you, bro. Tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite and NXT were such good shit. They were. Anthony, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you back. Leroy says Sammy Guevara quitting the Inner Circle was bound to happen eventually. Yeah, I think most of us, we've talked about it plenty of times here. about Sammy leaving, and maybe Santana and Ortiz leaving first, but it looks like Sammy was the first one to pull the trigger. Chloe says, ever since I called that painted lady from NXT Andrade, everyone started messaging me, asking me where... Oh, God. I can't believe that people actually thought that... Oh, man, I've looked at her name a million times, and I cannot remember it. Tian Sha. People think that Tian Sha is Andrade, and I have absolutely no idea why. They do not look like each other, and... You could definitely tell that this is a woman. Oh, God, people. That Vince voice, though, yeah, man. You know, this, you can't get enough of that on this podcast. It is just such good shit. Always and forever here. Always and forever. How you doing, Vance? Good to see you once again. Andre says, Vengeance Day will be flames. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And I'm going to be working on my NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day predictions video probably tomorrow, and I'll have it up on Saturday, and then depending on how things go, we might have a community stream on Saturday as well. I think that'd be cool. And of course there will be an NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day post show on Sunday. That is a mouthful. Chloe says, but she is very tranquilo though. Yes, Tian Sha is the most tranquilo you could ever get. And in fairness, she did seem to have Xia Li throw Kaden Carter onto concrete. Very reminiscent of Andrade. I have no idea where Andrade is, Nova. I have no clue. From what I understand, he's clear to come back. And he's just not. The rumor is that he's cleared, he's ready to go, and that he's going to get pushed to the moon. I don't know. I'm not quite sure if I believe that, though. Just a normal account says, how were the shows? The shows were both great tonight. I enjoyed both shows. They were very good. And NXT TakeOver looks very exciting this Sunday. I really wish it wasn't on Valentine's Day, though. I really wish. I wonder what Andrade thinks of the Flair storyline. Oh, yeah, he probably loves that. Chloe says, we need Andrade on SmackDown. 100%. 100%. I would love to see that. But, you know, I wouldn't mind an Andrade and Drew McIntyre feud either. Totally down for that. Diego says, Sammy will be a great face. I agree. Marcel says, Sammy said he needs to get away from here. Maybe to Impact or New Japan. Yes. Kenneth DeLap says, Andrade is just chilling with Aleister Black, trying to grab the brass ring. Very well said. James says, Lacey Evans and Ric Flair is not good. I completely agree with you. I absolutely hate it. 100%. It's the worst. The absolute worst. It is the drizzling shits, if you ask me. Flash says, the final shots of NXT were pure fire. That's how you hype up a pay-per-view. Yeah, I liked it. I was on the phone, so I didn't have the sound on, but I really liked them going through all of the matches like that. I thought that was great. Molly says, don't turn your back on Team Taz. You might wind up in a body bag and get drugged behind a van as well. Poor Darby Allin, man. Just always getting his ass beat all the time. Just a normal account says, Wednesday is always such good shit. Fridays can get a pass. Mondays, however, not good shit. Yeah, not very much. Not very much. Obi James says, where will Zelina Vega go? No compete clause ended today. Did it? I thought it ended on like the 18th or something like that. I'm not sure though. I've heard that there hasn't been that much interest in Zelina Vega. Not sure if that's true. Not sure if I believe that or not, but it did come from Fightful. So pretty reputable source there. So hopefully she does something. I think that she'd be a huge asset to Impact or even AEW, to be honest. She'd be a huge asset. Nova says that shot was cool. The body bag segment was like, that was hardcore. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see that tonight. Philip says Carlito show up next Monday night on Raw this Monday. He probably was backstage. Maybe. I haven't heard anything about it. but if anything comes up, like I'll definitely post it. Definitely will post it. Marcel says, "Oh shit, AEW posted a press conference with Omega and GB on Kenta and Bullet Club." What? What? AEW. Watch Nyla Rose interview. That's a slow motion video. Highlights, top 5. Pulse count anywhere. Coach's corner. On Twitter. I'm not seeing it on Twitter. I don't see it. On the like at AEW page? Oh, on YouTube. YouTube. God, what is there? Okay, it's right here. So what, like a kind of like a New Japan style thing after the show? Is that what you're talking about? I'm trying to load it, but it's taking forever for some reason. Cameron Grimes said NXT went to the moon. Yeah, that's funny. I can't believe they did that. All the stonks, man. All the stonks. Chloe says, someone told me that Boa almost got his soul snatched tonight, like Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I don't know. That was weird. That was very interesting, though. I loved that entire segment. That was so good. So good. I'm not seeing it here either. Hold on. Let me mute my system. Oh, it's already muted. Just to see what this is. So this is just the a post show. Post show. I don't. Oh, there it is. There it is. I see it. Is Kenta there? I'm scrubbing. I don't see Kenta in it though. That's cool though. I'll have to check that out afterwards and post some stuff from that. They said Edge and Christian may team up again. I saw that Christian talked about the possibility of returning tonight, but he didn't really reveal anything. So I would count on seeing Christian back in the ring. I think it's gonna happen. I definitely think it's gonna happen. I'm not quite sure when, but sooner rather than later for sure. But he says that tag team falls count anywhere match on AEW was fantastic. I agree. I loved it. I loved AEW Dynamite tonight. I thought it was a fantastic show from start to finish. And we should actually probably start talking about that here in a minute. Van says, I don't think Cross would have a chance against Finn, especially if Finn comes from his demon gimmick. I think that they would probably have Cross go over Finn. I think. What's next for Finn after that happens, though? I'm not sure. I am not sure. I'm assuming that they'll save Cross for whatever they do around WrestleMania. And it'll be interesting to see what they do for NXT since WrestleMania is 2 nights again. So we cannot have a WrestleMania NXT on Saturday. And I can't for the life of me remember what they did. Did they do one the week before last year? Andre says, I really can't like Cameron Grimes. What do you guys see in him? I think he's goofy and funny. I think he's really charismatic. I think that Cameron Grimes would excel on Raw. I don't think that he should be on NXT anymore. I think that Cameron Grimes should have went to Raw a long time ago. I really do. I think he would fit in a lot there, and he might make the show more stomachable. You know, to be able to actually watch it, and because he's goofy and funny in a good way. You know, this is how he's booked, so this is how we see him, but he can also be dominant in the ring at the same time. So I think he'd be a perfect fit for Raw. Vance says there were some rumors that Cross will be going to the main roster. I could see that happening. Have Cross just dip out of NXT. But okay, so Vance, or anyone can answer this question if you want to. So if Karrion Kross is headed to the main roster, Raw or SmackDown, what do you do with him? Do you give him a match sometime around WrestleMania at a takeover against Finn Balor and have Finn Balor go over and have him just show up on Raw or SmackDown? Or do you keep him away from Finn and just have him be dominant and then just randomly show up on Raw or SmackDown? Because it seems like that Finn match is on its way. It's got to be on its way. Put Cross against the Fiend? Yeah, but see, when you do stuff like that, you create problems because who wins? Who wins that match? And who loses? Like, the Fiend, when he comes back, he better not lose in like an entire year. I swear to God. If they book the Fiend bad once again, once he returns, it's over, man. I mean, I love the Fiend, so it's hard for me to say that it's over. But to be honest, it kind of feels like the Fiend died a long time ago. He died a long time ago. And, you know, the magic just fell off. Just the bad booking just really hurt him so much. I think that the Fiend character right now, had they have booked him correctly, would be a superstar. Huge. But unfortunately, they didn't. Imagine a feud between Karrion Kross and Roman Reigns. That'd be an interesting one. Nova says, according to reports, other rappers like Cardi B and Bow Wow want to be a part of the show after the numbers Bad Bunny did. I had heard some kind of stuff like that. Who was talking about it today? I can't remember. Oh, it was Sean Ross Sapp. He was talking about how he could definitely... Wait, was it? Actually, I don't want to say it was him because I can't actually remember. I think it was Sean Ross Sapp, though, that they said he could really see a WrestleMania match being like Bow Wow, Bad Bunny, and Cardi B versus like The Miz, John Morrison, and Taya Valkyrie, or Miz Morrison and Maurice, or something like that. I mean, all those people are, well, I wouldn't say that Bow Wow's a star anymore. Sorry, Bow Wow, but, you know, at least not compared to Bad Bunny and Cardi B, at least from what I understand. But, I mean, that's a WrestleMania match, I guess, for you. That would be huge. That would put a lot of eyes on content, for sure. Van says, I don't really like Cross with no hate, so I would prefer him to lose and then debut on the main roster. I wouldn't mind that. Flash says, so WrestleMania will have a Def Jam match. Yes. That's perfect. That is perfect right there. Basili says, and making him fight Goldberg and dropping the Universal Championship to him for literally no reason. Yeah, it was painful. That and the Hell in a Cell match, painful, man. Absolutely painful. Nova says it's all about the merch sales. Cardi B would break merch record sales. Yeah, probably. Philip says, do you think Big E versus Christian for the Intercontinental Championship is what I'm assuming? I think it'll happen. And it's very possible that could be Big E's WrestleMania opponent. If Christian is coming back, I think that's the match. Big E versus Christian at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. It's got to be the match. He can't team with Edge. Edge is going to have a World Championship match at WrestleMania. So what better way to do it than for the IC title with Big E? It's a match that he's been owed for all of these years. Everyone is aware of it. Big E has mentioned it. Christian has mentioned it. Everyone on Twitter and Instagram, all over social media, have mentioned it. It's a big match. And I wouldn't necessarily be mad about that either. Obviously, I'd have Big E go over Christian. But, you know, and then after that helps make Big E look like a star. And then afterwards, Christian can stick around for a little bit and have a couple matches here and there, depending on how active he's going to be. We'll see, though. We'll see. Chloe says, if they want Cross on the main roster, they should have him lose to Demon Finn Balor and then have Scarlett on both shows to tease that Cross is coming. Yeah, I would definitely... would I have Scarlett tease Cross? Probably, yeah. I'd probably have Scarlett tease Cross on whatever. I would also like to see Scarlett wrestle, too. I wouldn't mind seeing that. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done that yet. Anthony says Bianca said on Raw that everyone on social media is talking about Sasha versus Bianca. Yeah, because I mean, like, what's the alternative? Bianca versus Asuka? No. No. No one wants to see that. James says WWE's website says that Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton ended in a no contest. Wow. Yeah, you are 100% correct. That is not good shit. Ernesto says never liked Goldberg after he won against Kevin Owens and ruined Kevin Owens versus Jericho for the Universal Championship. Yeah, that's a shame. I loved the whole dynamic between Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens back then, and the Festival of Friendship and all of that stuff. Man, that was good. That was good. Basili says, would you have Big E or Christian play the role of a heel in that build? For me, I don't think that match needs to have a heel in it involved. I think that match is all about paying respects and kind of paying your dues, if you will. That's how I would book that match. You know, Christian comes out, says, look, man, I won the #1 contendership for this and I never got my match, so let's go. And Big E, he's a big dominant champion, so he says, I'll defend my championship against anyone. I don't care. There you go. There you go. Marcel says, okay, the press conference, they mentioned Switchblade and how he was a bootleg replacement and called God mid-carders. Oh my God. Oh, that is so exciting. That is so exciting. Although it's kind of weird to say brother Switchblade one week and then to call him a bootleg replacement. Are they working together or are they not working together? That is the question. I did see that. Oh man, who said it? Apparently that Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers did not have clearance to wear those Bullet Club shirts on AEW Dynamite. Everything ended up working out, but at the time they did not get permission to wear those shirts on TV. Nova says it's funny because it's true. I mean, I think the Gorillas of Destiny are fantastic to me. And I really like Switchblade. I think that Switchblade has a very, very, very bright future ahead of him. Whether he stays in New Japan or if he comes to the States to work, Switchblade is fantastic. I really like Switchblade. I think he's just getting started. Marcel says they still called him Brother Switchblade. I should make it clear they didn't specifically call him bootleg, rather the others. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch it afterwards and I'll post about it. Warrior says, oh yes, Rocky Romero was the one that said that. Thank you. Yes. Chloe says, don't mention the Festival of Friendship. My heart still hasn't recovered. I know. It was so good. It's so sad. It's Wednesday and you talk about Raw. I mean, we kind of talk about whatever for the beginning of the show. We kind of just hang out and chill before we get into the review of the show. Arnesto says, Gorillas of Destiny is an amazing tag team and Switchblade is soon getting a push to the moon. Yes, Anthony, Finn is 40. Yeah, right? 40, right? Finn Balor. Yep, 39 years old. July 25th, 1981. Everyone's old in WWE, man. Flash says, if I can see Haku destroying Don Callis, I'm going to smile a lot. James says, AEW, NWA, Impact, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, the new alliance. It's a good one. It is a good one. Rocco says, do you think we'll get Pac versus Omega at Revolution and then Kenta versus Moxley 2 at Revolution? You make an interesting point. I had always assumed that Jon Moxley would be the one to challenge Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship at Revolution. I don't know. I think it's possible. I definitely think that's possible. It just really depends on the route that they go. It really just depends. I could still seeing it be Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley, but I would not be mad at seeing Kenny Omega versus Pac. That would be great. Danny says, do you know when Ryback is joining AEW? Hopefully never. Would be my guess. Mally says, MJF sold that punch in the stomach like Sammy, like he got hit in the nuts. Yes, that was a good one. Omega vs. Mox at the pay-per-view. It's so clear. I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I'm just wondering how these New Japan guys, like, how long are they going to stick around? Is Kenta going to be there next week? You know? Is someone else going to be there next week? I guess that's the exciting thing, you know, when I talk about creating must-see TV, which is what they've done at this point. So, I don't know. I don't know. I still, like, at the end of the day, I really want to see Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega. I want both straps on the line. I want to see Bullet Club versus Elite Bullet Club inside of Blood and Guts. And I would love to see Omega and Okada 4 or 5, whichever one it is. I think it's 4. I would love to see another one of those out of this. There's a lot of good stuff that can come from this, but I'm just not quite sure if they're going to do it at Revolution. Leroy says MJF is probably going to take over the Inner Circle. I could definitely see that happening at this point. You're right, Chloe. Yes, Andrade did not get drafted, so he could go to whatever. Yep. It would be Omega versus Okada 5. Okay. Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that. Jay White versus Kenny Omega 3. Down for that as well, man. I'm down for that as well. Rocco says, I wouldn't be surprised if we got Pac versus Moxley versus Omega. That would be very interesting. Marcel says, Lee Johnson go the All Elite tweet. What do you mean? Yeah, I saw that they signed him. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about something else? Trying to look here. Oh, they posted the backstage thing. Has Scarlett ever been in a match? Not in WWE, no. Not to my knowledge. Ernesto says Jay White may not be as big as Balor, Styles, and Omega, but can generate so much more heat than the others, I feel. Maybe. James says, why would WWE put Drew and Miz in the Shaq Bowl if they knew that Shaq is working for the enemy company? I have no idea. Flash says, why not Archer versus Omega? Lance looked amazing tonight, and Omega only hit the one-winged angel after the Good Brothers helped him. Yeah, I mean, he's a big man. Danny says, Keith Lee versus Lashley at Mania. Give me Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Give me that one. That's what I want to see. All right. I'm tired of playing around. I want the match. I need it. We need it. Gotta happen. All right. It's gotta happen. All right. How about we talk about this show, right? About 40 minutes in. I think that's enough chilling. Kenta did post on Twitter. He said, living my effing life. See you, AEW. Go to sleep, club. Hopefully he stays around for a little bit longer. I would hate to see him leave already. Yes, I completely agree with you, Anthony. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar is such good shit. Marcel says, I'm so excited about the Bucks match next week. I think PMP has a high chance to win. I think so as well. And that's why I want to get into this show tonight. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff happened tonight, man. A lot of stuff happened. So let's go ahead and start getting into it here. Tonight's episode opened up with a TNT Championship match. Darby Allin defending his championship against the bad boy, Joey Janela. I thought this match was great. What about you guys? I enjoyed this match. I wasn't really looking forward to it. I'm not the biggest Joey Janela fan, but I enjoyed it. I thought this match was great. I liked the pace of it and everything. And, you know, we've talked about this quite a lot here, is that Darby Allin's just been carrying around the TNT Championship quite a bit. There haven't been very many defenses, and, you know, he's been working with Team Taz and this whole Sting angle for a very long time. So it's nice to see something different and fresh. I want to see Darby Allin defend his TNT Championship a lot more. Because as of right now, I don't feel like it's really done anything for him other than the moment when he won it, when Cody got down on one knee and presented him the title and called him the face of the company and all of that stuff. I thought that was great, but after that, not much has really gone on after that. Leroy says, gotta go. I'm doing something tomorrow. Good night. No worries, my friend. Thank you for tuning in, Leroy. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see you on Friday. So yeah, it looks like most people here enjoyed the match tonight. And I agree. I thought it was great. I thought the pace was great. Obviously the right outcome happened. And yeah, I'm ready for Darby to kind of move on in the next step. I'm really kind of getting, I wouldn't say that I'm getting soured. I guess that probably wouldn't be the best wording to use, but I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to move on from Darby and Sting versus Team Taz. I think it's been going on for way too long. They do kind of keep it fairly interesting every week. So, like I said, not a sour taste, but it's just been going on way too long. I want to see Darby Allin doing other stuff. I want to see what the hell Sting is here for more than anything else. What is going to happen after this feud? Is he going to be a mentor for Darby Allin? Is he going to challenge Darby Allin? Is he going to come after the TNT Championship? Is that what Sting is here for? Are Darby and Sting going to be a tag team? Is he going to manage him? I don't know. I'm ready to see what that is, though. I'm really, really ready to see what that is. Ernesto says, I'm kind of hoping that Darby loses it to Sammy. I feel like that title reign is getting a little stale, or at least the feud. Yeah, I guess stale would be the correct word to use there. I feel you. I feel like it's gone on long enough, yes. But, you know, at the same time, I mean, Sammy's probably going to be involved with the Inner Circle stuff for quite a while here, so maybe at some point, maybe Sammy Guevara will be the next TNT champion, and I have no problem with that. I think that's probably the best way to go, but I want to see Darby have a good reign. That's what I want to see. I want to see Darby have a good reign. He deserves this TNT Championship run, and that's about it. Obi James says, this storyline is long, but it's not as painful as the Rollins Mysterio feud. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's painful at all. It just is a lot. You know, it's just been going on for quite a while. And like I said, I'm just ready to move on to the next stuff. I want to see what Sting has got. And I know that they're probably just buying time to save this all for the pay-per-view event so that it's a big deal when Sting hops in the ring. But they should, like, I wouldn't mind them breaking it up, you know, where, you know, we haven't seen Team Taz for what, 2 weeks now, like actually in a match, or maybe even 3 weeks now. So, you know, I wouldn't mind if they were just kind of off TV for a week or two, or, you know, they're just not attacking him, but they can continue their feud. But give me more stuff like this. Give me Darby defending his TNT Championship and then having Team Taz do something, as opposed to it just typically being a promo versus promo type deal. Marcel says, this guy called Matthew on your Insta is so angry with me and saying AEW sucks. Yeah, I can imagine. Someone's always so mad about something. There's, I mean, I guess we'll talk about that in a minute too with the whole NXT thing. James says, off to watch NXT. I really hope the show turns out to be such good shit. It is good, man. You'll enjoy it, James. You'll enjoy the show. Josh says, do you like AEW having 2 entrance tunnels, like having a heel and face? Sammy went through the babyface tunnel after he quit. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I do. And I think it fits, and it's interesting. Molly says, I heard Cody's Snoop Dogg remix song, and good God, I completely agree with you. Yeah, it's terrible. It's so bad. So bad. I saw it first, says, they mentioned Sting will address Team Taz next week. The story continues. Yeah, so like I was saying, I don't mind the stuff like this. Like if Darby's going to wrestle, and then they want to have some Titantron promo afterwards or something like that. That is completely fine. But the whole like promo v promo type deal is just, it's getting a little stale for me. That is all. But I don't mind it continuing in more unique fashion. And hopefully this is all just washed away afterwards, which is kind of a shame as well, because I think Ricky Starks would be a fantastic TNT champion as well. If booked correctly, I think that he would be a great one. Philip says, goodbye. I'll see you on Friday. Have a good rest of your night, my friend. I appreciate you tuning in. See you on Friday. Pro Gamer says, the AEW versus WWE is getting annoying. I mean, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games. If you're not someone that enjoys one or the other, and you're like being malicious, it's dumb. It's dumb. But for me, I enjoy AEW and NXT as well. So to me, if AEW takes a shot at NXT, it's no big deal. If NXT takes a shot at AEW, I couldn't care less. It's all fun and games. And if it's good, it's good. Right? I mean, we all have our preferences. There are people that prefer NXT over AEW. There's nothing wrong with that. NXT is a fantastic show. Most of the time, I think that AEW is better, a little bit better than NXT, but they're still my 1 and 2s. And I mean, they're almost 1 and 1. They're almost tied. But I don't know. I enjoy AEW a little bit more. And then SmackDown, and then Raw for sure. Last. So, you know, I have no problem with stuff like that. I think people just need to let loose and have a little bit of fun and stop taking things so seriously. And, you know, there's a difference between like, I mean, like I said this before, but I can't speak for everyone, but I don't critique things. I don't do it to be malicious, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like if I have a critique about something that Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or AEW does, it's not because I hate them and I want them to fail. It's because I love them and I want them to succeed. There's absolutely no reason that Raw should be in the predicament that it is. With the talent that they have, there's no way. So it hurts when you see them put on these god-awful shows, and when you see them losing half of their viewership in just a year's time, it's painful because you know there's so much better of it for it. So the whole thing with AEW and NXT goes as well. Like, I do not want to see NXT get slaughtered every single week by Dynamite. And that's not me being malicious. That's just me telling you the truth. NXT has lost 99% of the time in the weekly battle with AEW. Sure, maybe they are keeping them from that million that everyone thinks that they need for any sort of validation. Sure, but at what cost? At what cost? Losing 200,000-300,000 viewers of your own every single week? So me saying that NXT needs to move to Thursdays is not malicious against NXT. I want NXT to thrive, and I think NXT will thrive a lot more when it's on its own night and it's not competing against Dynamite. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Punk says, are you excited for NXT Vengeance Day? Yes, 100%. It's going to be a fantastic show. Chloe says, this promo from you is already better than 3 hours of Raw. Yeah, because it's logical, right? And it's passion, you know? Like, if you weren't passionate for this business, if you didn't care about these companies and these shows, you wouldn't watch them. You wouldn't watch them. And, you know, that's why it's like, oh, you know, those people are like, oh, if you don't like it, well, you don't watch it. It's like, yeah, well, half of everyone has. So you should respect the people that are here trying to critique this company to push them in the right direction, because most people that I've seen pretty much know what they're talking about, you know? Ernesto says, I'm interested on where Moxley goes after the Omega feud. I mean, maybe they'll have it tie up for a little bit longer, and then Renee's pregnant, so maybe he'll take some time off, which I think would probably be best. I saw first says Raw ratings this week drop. The start of the dip will continue. Yeah, they lost a lot this week. A lot. Marcel says Omega's title reign quickly becoming an all-timer. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I think that it's a game changer. It's a game changer, and we're not even getting started yet. We haven't even gotten started. Omega is supposedly out to collect titles, and none have been collected. I mean, except the AAA Mega title, but no one mentions that. No one pays attention to that. But the Impact World Championship is still there. The TNA World Heavyweight Championship is lingering around. Kota Ibushi's IWGP Heavyweight Championship is still lingering around. There is some gold to be collected here, so I can't wait to see it. I think that this is going to take Kenny's reign to the next level, and I think that, honestly, I think all of this is going to take these companies to the next level as well. I think Kenny Omega as the Impact World Champion, I think, will help Impact a lot. And, you know, we haven't even really seen Omega on Impact in quite a while. Private Party has been taking that spot. So, I don't know. I like it, though. And I think, you know, like I said, I think we're just at the beginning. I think there's a lot more to come. Rocco says, I like that the fans in the CWC don't bang on the glass like they did on the main roster. That was the worst. The worst. God, I hated that. I think I hate that more than I hate the fake piped in crowd noise. Mally says, if Gold signed with AEW, what would your reaction be? I'd be upset about it, because that doesn't fit in with what they're trying to do, you know? So, yeah, I would not be very happy. I feel like that'd be very hypocritical of them to do something like that. Pro Gamer says, my hole. Marcel says, I think Rich Swann versus Omega in April. Okay, so we're getting close. You know, they're going to have to do something around WrestleMania. So you could very well be right. I think that'd be the perfect time to start executing the title collections. Clayton says, are you loving the AEW champion and NXT champion are Bullet Club members? Yeah. It's great. Finn Balor is incredible, man. I love where he's at right now. And NXT, the matches that he's been putting on have been incredible. Absolutely incredible. So I'm very happy to see him be able to move on from Raw and SmackDown and be able to go to NXT and be able to do the things that he loves to do at the high level that he does them. So that's incredible. Chloe says, all right, AEW, I gotta go. I might see you on Friday. Enjoy your post show. Thank you. As always, I appreciate you tuning in, Chloe. Thank you. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you on Friday. Flash says, am I the only one who actually wants to see Moose versus Omega? No, I think that Moose versus Omega is the match. To me, that is the match. That's how I would do it. Although you could argue that here's the argument. Here's the argument for that. If you had Rich Swann lose the Impact World Championship to Kenny Omega, and then Kenny Omega had it for however long it is, then what you do is you have the match. Moose challenges Kenny Omega to bring back the Impact World Championship. He wants to bring it home. Maybe Moose is still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion at this time as well. Maybe. And then you somehow, some way make Moose defeat Kenny Omega to bring the Impact World Championship home. Moose is hold on. Moose is to the moon. 100%. That guy will skyrocket to superstardom with a win over Kenny Omega and a fantastic match, bringing the Impact World Championship home. And then he could unify the TNA World Heavyweight Championship with the Impact World Championship. And that's how they could write it off TV. I wouldn't mind that, but I think that Omega versus Moose is the match. And I'm totally fine with seeing it play out the opposite way with Moose beating Omega rather than because we would have to have Moose beat Rich Swann, and then Kenny would have to beat Moose, and then who would take the title off of Kenny? Moose, I guess, again. So I don't know, that might be the better way to do it. Have Kenny beat Rich Swann and then have Moose beat Kenny Omega down the line. That's probably what's best for business. Rocco says, I can't watch SmackDown and Raw mainly because of the virtual fans, and I just don't like the look on NXT. It isn't as bad. Yeah, the Thunderdome is not for me. It's not for me. I didn't mind the early pandemic matches when there was no one there. I actually kind of prefer that. I hate the piped in crowd noise. I can't stand it. Cannot stand it. Although it didn't seem to be very bad for the Royal Rumble. I thought it was going to be terrible for the Royal Rumble, but it didn't seem to bother me whatsoever. It was all pretty good. I saw first says the average age of the Chambers competitors is over 40, and the champ is the only under 40 in the match. Insane to still keep young NXT talent of the main roster. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think most people in WWE are actually pretty old at this point. Most people are in their mid-late 30s over there. And that's something that changes, over on the AEW side. There's a lot of younger people. MJF, Jungle Boy. Marco Stunt is probably pretty young, I would assume. Let's see. Marco Stunt is 24 years old. How old? Sammy Guevara is very young as well, I think. Sammy Guevara is 27 years old. MJF is 24 years old as well. I think Chris Statlander is fairly young. Chris Statlander is 25 years old as well. Let's see, who else? Who else is pretty young over there? How old is Darby Allin? Darby Allin's pretty young as well. Darby's 28. I would consider that pretty young. Pretty young. So yeah, they have quite the good. Even Hangman Adam Page is 29 years old. Even Hangman is under 30. How old's Kenny? Kenny is 37. And Chris Jericho is 50. How old's Cody? Cody Rhodes is 35. So Moxley, I think, is probably around the same age. Yep, 35 as well. So they have a pretty young roster. They have a lot of younger guys that they could pull from. How old is Wardlow? That's something I'd be interested in knowing. Wardlow is 33 years old. So they have a few younger guys over at AEW, but I also don't mind that the WWE people are 40, as long as they are there and performing the best that they can. Like, is anyone really going to complain that Finn Balor's 40? Like, Finn Balor is kicking people's asses, and one of the main attractions for the show. Like, those matches are incredible that Finn Balor's in. So I don't care. As long as they're full-time members and they're actually wrestling, I really don't care that much about age. The Acclaimed, yes, the Acclaimed are young as well, I believe. And it's very interesting to hear that the Acclaimed was just a thrown together tag team. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. Let me figure out how old they are. Max Caster. But does he not have a wiki? Top Flight is super young. Yes, they are. Top Flight, they are 18 and 21 or 19 and 22 or something like that. How old are you, Max Caster? I don't know. This is too much work to look into. Kip Sabian's 28. So yeah, they have quite a amount of young people there. Basili says Hangman is becoming my favorite wrestler in AEW more and more every week with his alcoholic role. I hope they're gearing up to do this all again as well, because Hangman pre pandemic was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Marcel says Meltzer bought about the age thing in the Royal Rumble, how everyone was above 40 and people got mad. Yeah, I think there were two people that weren't 40, right? One was like 38 and then someone was like 33 or something like that. Nova says, LOL, I thought you were a detective. Wouldn't you know this stuff? Hey, a detective is not a genius. A detective is someone who gets to the bottom of everything. I have to research these cases, my friend. Detective AOW is the best there is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be as well. The best detective in the business. There's not a case that I can't solve quickly. Very quickly. Ray Phoenix is 29. No Hack says, I've been running the Acclaimed train since their first dark match. Yeah, they're really good together. They are very good together. I think that they're definitely going to excel. 100%. They're going to go far in AEW. Marcel says, Hangman is the GOAT. I completely agree with you. Completely agree. I love Hangman. Adam Page, he's my favorite that they have in AEW probably. So I'm very, very, very excited for his future. Very excited. I think when fans come back, everything is going to change for him. Anthony says age does not matter if you're kicking ass. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you are 50 years old and you're putting on a match the caliber of Finn Balor, by all means, come wrestle. In my opinion, like, hell, who cares? If you're here every single week performing at a top tier level, no problems. No problems. But if you're showing up and you're old like Gold, then I do have a problem with it because you're just taking away from everything else. So that's where I draw the line. Flash says Otis was the youngest in the Rumble. Yeah, I think you might have been right. I think so. Nova says, which might be pretty soon since the NBA is allowing fans. You know, it's the interesting thing about WrestleMania and all of that. I've seen some people discussing that the NFL did a good job of protecting people at the Super Bowl, but something that they noticed was the pre-parties and the post-parties for it, where people aren't necessarily following those rules and they can't really control them. So I've heard, I think this was from Sean Ross Sapp as well, that there is kind of a worry for WrestleMania weekend for the dum-dums that are out there partying and not following the rules and the guidelines. So maybe we could have a great WrestleMania this year, but then the following couple weeks could be an absolute nightmare if people are testing positive for COVID and they have to be out of work for at least 2 weeks. And who knows, maybe Roman Reigns it gets upset and has to pull out again. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Marcel says a lot of people said the main event was an Attitude Era match. Yeah, I think I've heard people, or maybe it was you that I saw on Instagram, but I saw a couple people mention that tonight though. Pro Gamer says people use the 99% survival rate as an excuse. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that I really want to talk about here because everyone has their own beliefs and they are, you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't care, right? But, you know, people are going to have repercussions for things if they're doing things that they're not going to, if people are getting sick around them. I know Casey Catanzaro is getting like flamed on social media for the past couple of days because she went to a Super Bowl pre-party or a post-party or something like that. So I don't know. Marcel says the streets were filled with people in packs. Mania will be a super spreader. Yeah, so I mean they can do as much as they can at WrestleMania, but once you're out of the building, you know, how are you gonna line up 25,000 people to get in? How are you going to have 25,000 people leave the arena, all being safely distanced from each other as well? So I don't know. It just seems like it could potentially be a bad idea. But Florida doesn't care. So it's Florida. That's why Florida Man exists, and Florida Man is one of the greatest things ever. Raphael says age gaps are pretty crazy. Like in wrestling, 35 is considered pretty young, and just getting into your prime, while in like the NBA, being 35 means you're considered an old head and are retiring soon. Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. I saw first as the NBA is trying to have all events for the All-Star game in one day. The dunk contest will be play in the halftime and the All-Star game as reported. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how all this stuff will navigate forward with vaccines and all sorts of stuff like that. Like I was talking about in the Raw post show, my fiance and I still have tickets to Double or Nothing this year. That's in like March or May, whatever it is. June, I have no idea. Whenever it is. We have tickets to that, and she reached out to people like 2 weeks ago and everyone said it was still on. So I don't know what that means, if it's actually going to happen or not, but I want to go. I want to go. And it'd be in Vegas, like Jesus. Oh God. Vegas. It's like a hub. So that would be kind of interesting. Andre says, Florida Man is the greatest. Thank you for the memes. Yeah. Florida Man is the greatest. Nova says, tell that to Tom Brady, 45 and still going. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, he is. That's right. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Okay, let's get on with this show here a little bit more. We got off topic after talking about the first match, but one of the things that I wanted to say about this match as well was the aerial view that they used at the end of this match when Darby beat Joey Janela. I loved that. I would love to see that more for submission moves and all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, this was good. This was very good in my opinion. Right after this, we saw Jon Moxley give a promo, and I really wish I would have remembered exactly what he said, because it was hilarious when he called KENTA like a goof for walking around with a briefcase or something like that. I thought it was great, because I always am saying something like that about The Miz, just walking around being completely worthless and just being a joke. So I thought that was great. I love to see that. And then when he threw the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship across his shoulder, I was like, this is incredible. This is incredible. Love it. Love to see the IWGP US Championship on AEW television. I didn't think it was going to happen. Pro Gamer says, how was the Cargill and Shaq versus Cody and Britt Baker match? So that match hasn't happened, and it's actually, so it's Jade Cargill and Shaq versus Cody and Red Velvet. Red Velvet's the person in the match, not Britt Baker. But yeah, it's coming up. It'll be interesting. I have no idea what they're going to do, but I have faith in them. All right, next up, the Inner Circle is fine, okay? Inner Circle is fine. MJF and Sammy Guevara get into it backstage after Sammy has everyone leave the room, so it is just him and MJF. MJF, I believe he had his phone out and he was recording everything, and that was kind of like the last straw for Sammy, and he struck him in the belly, hit him right in the stomach, and walked out. This guy says, how were they fine? It's so funny to see people just still not, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb and I just think that the Inner Circle is fine thing is funny because Bullet Club is fine, you know? I don't know. Anyways, we're gonna switch to NXT really briefly here for this next part, because this happened in my timeline here. Andre says, did you see Britt Baker saying that people that like Star Wars are sick? No, but I can I can imagine her saying something like that. That's funny. Probably just piss off a lot of people. Obi James says, Kenta's briefcase is 10,000% more valuable than the Money in the Bank. Yeah, I mean, you could carry around a slab of bologna and it would probably be more valuable than the Money in the Bank briefcase right now. Pro Gamer says, why isn't Asuka defending the Raw Women's Championship on pay-per-views? I have no clue, man. Because she's involved in a tag team storyline, apparently. Next up, like I said, I want to switch over to NXT here because this segment was incredible. I say this every single week. I absolutely love this stuff with Tian Sha here. And Tian Sha is the creepy, like, ancient Chinese lady that has been mentoring and kind of changing Xia Li and Boa. I love it. I absolutely love it. The visual is so good. So for the entrance, they have her sitting in the chair there. They go and get a close-up of her face. She opens her eyes and it zooms out, and then Xia Li and Boa are there. Next up, they walk down. Xia Li draws out a sword and does like a little a sword spiel thing. It is so good. It is so good. I absolutely love this. I want to see way more of this. And after her match, I can't remember who the match was against. One of the newer girls that got signed though is one of them. Not Priscilla Kelly either. After this, Kaden Carter and I believe Casey Catanzaro were down there trying to help Xia Li and try to get her to come back to be her normal self, you know. Same thing as Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, that whole thing that happened briefly on Raw. So this was the kind of same thing here, and Tian Sha was not having it whatsoever. She ended up choking Boa, and then while she was choking Boa, she lifted her hand up, and I'm not sure if when she lifted her hand up, I'm not sure if she was controlling Xia Li or not, or like, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like some weird mystical power thing or what, but the visual for this was awesome. Xia Li threw Kaden Carter off of the ramp onto the concrete and then went and kicked Casey Catanzaro right in the dome, and then reunited back up top on the ramp with Boa and Tian Sha. Absolutely love this. I cannot wait to see more of this. I want to see this on my TV every single week. Every single week. They're absolutely killing it with this. And this is a prime example of how you make someone a star. Star might be a little big of a word. Might be a little bit much to say a star. But this is how you build someone up. Xia Li 4 weeks ago was a nobody on TV. No one cared what she was doing. No one cared about her matches. And now look, she is without a doubt my favorite part of NXT every single week. Just like that. It's all about telling interesting stories. This is super unique and it's very entertaining. Imagine if they did something like this on Raw times 3 or 4, 3 or 4 times. Obviously not the same exact thing, but if they did this for 3 or 4 people at the same time, you would have 3 or 4 interesting things going. It'd be incredible. Rocco says, I would love to see Ricochet and MSK team up. That would be very interesting. That'd be very interesting. I would be interested to see if Ricochet will actually stay with WWE. Nova says, I mean, she was not really doing much, but bring her back from what? Raphael says, what if Sheamus steals the title from Drew at the Chamber, setting up Sheamus versus Drew at Mania? It would make that much more personal and would allow Drew to win the title with the crowd. I could see it. I could see that as well. I could see it as well. There's a couple of theories that seem like they could be pretty spot on for stuff like that. Molly says, where in the world was the Undisputed Era? Not on TV tonight, at least not to my knowledge. I didn't see them on there tonight, which is not a bad thing. You know, one of the things that I think NXT has lost currently is that they feature these people too often. Someone like Adam Cole, I don't want to see Adam Cole wrestle every single week. I don't want to see everyone from the Undisputed Era wrestle every week. Same thing with Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa. Like, you didn't regularly see these guys on an episode of NXT wrestling. So when you saw Tommaso Ciampa was wrestling on the show or he was going to be there, it was a big deal. You're like, oh, okay, Ciampa's here. I have to watch it tonight. Right? So they're more of like pay-per-view attractions, big deals, stuff like that. And I think that that's what they need to do with all of this. I think that they feature their talent way too much in NXT. And I think that's probably one of the things that takes away that special feeling that people are missing from back in the day. Warrior says, would rather have Drew walk into Mania as the champ. Don't need to see the title get hot potatoed again like they did with Randy. I would agree with that. I would very agree with that. The only thing is, I guess I'll touch on this briefly. Is Edge really going to challenge Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship? That means that Edge has to lose. Edge should not beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. It doesn't make any sense. If Edge is going to lose to Roman Reigns, he had no business winning the Royal Rumble, in my opinion. Edge could ask for that match. Edge is not on a brand. He's not on Raw, and he's not on SmackDown either. Edge can do whatever the hell he wants. He's a free agent, technically. Edge could go over to SmackDown easily and challenge Roman Reigns. So for me, I feel like this whole thing is for Edge to win. That's what I think. I think all of this was designed for Edge to win. He was not number one in the Royal Rumble, but they changed it. They changed it so that he was, which told you instantly that something was going on since he was starting it off. Edge coming into the Royal Rumble at 1, winning the Royal Rumble, and then going on to WrestleMania and becoming some sort of world champion is the story to me. That's the story. So going up against Roman Reigns doesn't fit, at least not in my narrative. So, I mean, I hate to say it because I don't want to see this happen to Drew McIntyre, but I think that the match for WrestleMania is Edge versus Drew McIntyre, and I think that Edge should defeat Drew McIntyre. If not, I think this will all have been for nothing, and I think that the men's Royal Rumble win should have gone to someone else. Marcel says, Edge ain't winning. He shouldn't be champ. He should be just putting guys over. I would agree with you, but I don't know. I just have a feeling that this was all designed for him to win. What happened to Braun? I have no idea. I have no clue. I'm thinking that maybe he was a random fill-in for the Rumble. Maybe he wasn't supposed to return. Well, no, because he was on SmackDown as well. So yeah, I don't know. Flash says Drew can take that loss. Well, and I mean, Drew's been champion for a year, pretty much. Like, aside from that, like 2 or 3 weeks or whatever, where Randy was champion and then hot potatoed it. I could see Edge winning, giving him that last title run that they want. It'll be in front of fans. Maybe they'll have Drew McIntyre get the title back from Edge. I don't know. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre is a fantastic story, though, as well. But I don't think that Edge and Roman Reigns would pay off the way that it should. I don't know. Rocco says, the only thing I don't like about AEW is the amount of matches that are a superstar versus some unsigned dark wrestler. Like, I want to see FTR versus Top Flight, not the Seidel brothers. I don't mind the matches like that. I don't have a problem with them when they're like, I have a problem with stuff when they're actual squash matches like all the time, but I don't mind them if they're just a couple minutes long and everyone looks strong in them. I don't mind stuff like that. Basili says he needs to win because what's all this for then? Yeah, I mean, that's my point. That's the point I'm trying to make. Marcel says, apparently people think Archer versus Omega for the title at Revolution and Kenta versus Mox rematch at the pay-per-view. Sure, I'm down for that. As someone else mentioned earlier, I would be down for Pac and Omega too. I wouldn't mind that. What were the AEW standings today? Let me take a look. We'll take a look at the AEW. Obi James says, I don't think Edge needs the NXT title. I don't think so either. I wouldn't have, if I had Edge take on Finn Balor, I would have Edge lose. I would. And I wouldn't mind that either. If Edge wanted to take on Finn Balor, I think that'd be fine. Let's see here. Because, you know, at least Raw and SmackDown, they're kind of like quote unquote main roster type deals. So you could argue that he could just go everywhere, but NXT is kind of a different spiel. I swear. Okay, here they are. Okay, so the AEW rankings currently are Number 1 is Jon Moxley. Number 2 is Cody Rhodes. 3 is Pac. 4 is Rey Fenix. And 5 is Miro. Ooh, Miro's number 5. Miro is number 5 on the list. Ooh. You'll love to see it. Holy hell. The women's rankings are Red Velvet. Red Velvet is 4-0. Red Velvet is number 1 on the women's ranking. Number 2 is Britt Baker. 3 is Serena Deeb. 4 is Ty Conti. And 5 is Thunder Rosa. This is a good top 5. This is a good top 5 right here. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Obi James says Miro's ranked. Yes, sir, he is. Miro is 2-0 in 2021. Miley says, how much you want to bet that Andrade will return the night after WrestleMania? I mean, I'm excited for him whenever he returns, so I don't really care. Maybe Pac versus Archer, number 1 contenders match, because remember they have a feud. There you go. I mean, that's the thing that I like about AEW is that the outcomes, it could be almost anything. They're not so predictable. Moving on to the tag team rankings. Rank number... Wait, this is interesting. So they're out of order? Kind of? Oh... Okay, so I think they're out of order because Chris Jericho and MJF are technically the number 1 contenders because they won the Battle Royal match. So they're actually number 3, but they're on the top of the list. Number 1 is FTR. Number 2 is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Number 4 is the Acclaimed. And number 5 is Santana and Ortiz. Didn't they just say that Santana and Ortiz were ranked number 1 tonight? Because they're not. I don't understand how these rankings work whatsoever either. Santana and Ortiz are ranked number 5 with a record of 3-1, and FTR is ranked number 1 with just 1 match, 1 win and 0 losses. I don't know. I don't get how any of this shit works. Raphael says, I just realized that AEW almost never does triple threat or fatal 4. Oh, come on. Pop up. Or fatal 4-way matches. Honestly really shocks me given that they love their multi-man matches. Yeah, we have another 8-man tag match next week that I'll talk about here shortly as well. Revolution card is very unpredictable at this point. Yeah, it's crazy. Rankings are weird. I don't understand them. I don't understand them at all. I don't get it. Maybe they beat more someone who's higher up in the card, so that win is worth more than a win over maybe like a not popular tag team or something like that. Or maybe like the winning a bigger match is worth more weight than just winning a standard tag match. I'm not quite sure. I have no clue. Something that I just noticed while we were talking about that as well is that Christopher Daniels or SCU said that if they lost another match that they would split ways, and we haven't seen them since, which is kind of interesting. I just remember that. Rocco says, I like that in AEW the matches will either be unpredictable or will be a big part in a story or will just be an all-out brawl. Yeah, I like that even sometimes their random matches are still story driven. Even like a lot of people thought that the whole Taz stuff was random at the beginning, but even that was a story from like 9 months ago. It's crazy. Raphael says, if we get Reigns versus Edge, who challenges Drew? Nobody on the current roster seems worthy enough or credible enough to be in the main event of a night of WrestleMania. Braun, a part-timer, is confusing. I think Sheamus could do it. I definitely think Sheamus could do it. It doesn't look like it's going to be Keith Lee anymore. Looks like Keith Lee might be our next United States champion. Sheamus, though. Sheamus is a good one. And Andrade is a good one as well if they want to bring him in and shoot him to the moon. Another easy one is Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal is cleared and ready to go. He wrestled at the Superstar Spectacle and he's nowhere to be found. There's still a good story to be told right there. Marcel says Drew versus Braun is apparently the Mania match. Oh God, I hope not, man. I have no interest in Drew versus Braun Strowman. to be honest. I saw first as I never understood rankings of wrestlers on scripted shows. They make no sense. I think it makes sense to have rankings. I think that in a sport you should have some sort of ranking system. I don't think that you need to be married to them, and I don't think that you need to live and die by the rankings, but I think that they're a good thing to have for sure. Andre says, and you think WWE should have rankings? They have confusion enough running down those corridors. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Rocco says, wins on Dark don't really do anything, but a win on Dynamite versus a top-ranked team will boost you up. Well, I mean, you could argue that, but Red Velvet is the #1 contender for the Women's Championship, and she's 4-0, and I don't think any of those wins came from Dynamite. But I do understand. Which is what a pain in the ass, though, for the normal viewer, someone like you or me, to sit and have to try to figure out how that makes sense. Because remember, it was supposed to be the TLC match last year. I'm not interested in Braun. I got no interest in Braun Strowman, man. I don't know. That ship sailed like 3 years ago for me. I don't know. Anyways, next up we had Lee Johnson and Cody Rhodes taking on Peter Avalon and Cezar Bononi. This match was pretty good. Lee Johnson looked great, and he got a win over Peter Avalon here. In a little promo that he cut with Tony Schiavone, he said that he was 0-29 prior to this. So this is his first win in the company. And if you don't know, Lee Johnson is a part of the Nightmare family. I believe he is training with them. So I think this was pretty obvious that this was going to happen. But right after the match, Tony Khan took to Twitter to post that Lee Johnson is now All Elite. So he is now in the company. Congratulations to him, and that's a huge accomplishment. And I think that he'll fit in very well with the company. I do. I was impressed with his work tonight, and I'm excited to see where they go from here. Obi James says Cody's feels directionless. I know, man. He does. Like, I don't know what they're doing with him. He's very directionless. It doesn't seem like they have anything planned for him whatsoever. You would think that, I mean, I guess he's moved on completely and they're just Nightmare family now. They have no interest in Elite or Bullet Club type stuff, but maybe that will change at some point down the line. Maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. Carlos says, did you see how QT Marshall was looking at Lee Johnson after he thanked everyone except him? I didn't see his face, but I did notice that, and I thought it was pretty funny. Rocco says, yeah, I just remember seeing in a comment section about someone saying that a 2-0 team is at 6, but a 1-0 team is at 2. Fair enough. I mean, it definitely makes sense. You know, if I'm 0-0, but I beat Jon Moxley in a match, I feel like that would be worth more than me beating Peter Avalon in a match for sure. So I get it. Maybe they could. No, that would be too complicated. Yeah, it's fine. Marcel says, well, a lot of fans are so anti-Cody, so maybe that's why. And I've never understood that. I've never understood why people hate Cody and Brandy so much. It's like literally they just exist. And people are like, what are you guys doing? You're burying talent. You're doing this and you're doing that. You're so terrible. Blah, 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 blah. Like, what? Chill. Just chill. Andre says -1 is the new leader. Did they announce that? They actually announced that? Let me take a look. He's here. Not seeing anything. Not seeing anything on the Twitters. On the tweeters. Oh, of course not. Okay. I was like, really? They really did that? Okay. You got me. Next up is one of the interesting things that I wanted to talk about this show. The Good Brothers, man. They buried the NXT ratings for last week. Bury the NXT ratings from last week. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I think someone posted it in the comments. Yeah, he said a good 844 to a 610, basically. I thought this was pretty funny. Like I said, I like both shows, so it doesn't bother me when someone takes shots at someone else. I just think it's funny. But man, I knew that people were gonna explode for this one. I'm sure there's a lot of people online upset about this, but just have fun. It's all fun and games. All fun and games. I thought it was great, and I'm, like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm very, very interested in seeing what the ratings look like tomorrow. I can't wait to see what they look like. I'm very curious to see what KENTA was able to do for AEW. But I think it was Marcel that mentioned it. There is like an impeachment process going on, so that may have stolen from TV, but we'll be able to tell as well when those ratings come out. Marcel says, actually, a lot of people didn't even notice. Really? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that my post only has 25 comments on it. I was expecting it to have like 300. People get like really pissed off about stuff like that. Molly Man says, when was the last time that Dustin Rhodes had a match? Well, I'll tell you. I think it was the whole stuff with Matt Cardona, wasn't it? He was in that match. At least I think he was. Oh, or maybe it was the match against Evil Uno. That might have been his last match. So he wrestles on Dark. So he wrestled on Dark last week. On Dynamite though, the last time he wrestled on Dynamite was December 17th, where he beat Evil Uno. And then he wrestled like 2 weeks before that and he beat 10. And then before that was the bunkhouse match with the Natural Nightmares, Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall versus the Butcher and the Blade. Marcel says Cody needs to reignite his feud with MJF. It's not over, but it's so good. Well, I think MJF's probably going to be tied up in the Sammy Guevara stuff, right? Unless, I mean, I guess we'll talk about that when we get there, because there's another outcome for that. I saw first says the Nightmare family will inject themselves soon to the main event picture once AEW Best Pay-Per-View Double or Nothing comes around. Cody takes booking straight from his dad. Be interesting to see. I mean, they will have a decent sized stable at some point. Andre says, I'm a WWE fanboy and I don't understand how can anyone hate Cody. I even like him when he was Stardust. Yeah, I don't know. There was a couple other people that replied to that. I forgot to look at. Warrior says, I don't get the hate on Cody. He's done possibly everything he could to not be at the top, which he should, since he's one of their most known guys. I know. I mean, everyone complained about him getting the world championship shot. And then, you know, they put the stipulation on where if he lost, he can never challenge for it again. Even then, people, I mean, I still think that was a dumb stipulation to add. I don't think that should have been anywhere near an option. I just think it's dumb. But even then, you know, and then he won the TNT Championship and everyone's like, well, there you go. He's burying everyone else again. And, you know, Darby Allin beat him. The man got on his knees and presented him the title. I don't have a problem with any of that. Raphael says the people who hate Cody and Brandy are the WWE fanboys. That's it. I guess it's because of all they've been doing in wrestling, like kickstarting AEW and stuff. Flash says, I call Cody Hunter Cody Road Helmsley just for fun. He actually built Darby. Yeah, I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it. Rocco says, I looked into the rankings and it's basically them trying to make it like NCAA football or basketball rankings. So that's why Mox is number 1. So in the NCAA, they rank off of a win being ranked differently depending on who it is what I'm understanding. So if you have a team that's 5-0 and you defeat them, that win is worth more than a team that has like 1-3, 1-4, I'm assuming. I saw it first says Cody versus his brother was one of the best matches ever on AEW. No one can hate on Cody. I saw that live at Double or Nothing. And I was like 3 or 4 rows away from the ring on the floor. And it was disgusting to see the blood pouring out of Dustin Rhodes' head. It was insane. Absolutely, man. I need to go back and rewatch that. That match was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Flash says Hunter Cody rode Helmsley. Actually, he helped a lot of guys. The perfect example was tonight. Yeah, with Lee Johnson, letting Lee Johnson get the win there. Marcel says, I think people hate Cody because they think he should be a heel and not a fake face, like they think his entrance is full ego. I love Cody's entrance. Although I really wish that he would get rid of the beginning, the whole flashy like rising up thing. I think that's something that should be saved for pay-per-views, like for big events, you know. I talk about the same thing with Drew McIntyre. I don't think Drew McIntyre should come out with the kilt and the sword every time. That should be big pay-per-view events so that you can kind of get a feel of the difference and just make it so much better. I think it would make it much better. Also, Cody, please hear this. Get rid of that trash ass Snoop Dogg remix to your song. It is terrible and no one wants to hear it. Everyone's ears are bleeding. Babies are crying. Children are beating each other up. It's terrible. Please, for the love of God, change it back to the original Kingdom version by Downstate. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's the best theme song in the world. Please, for all of us, please, please. Warrior says Cody made himself a transitional champ just to put over Darby. Yep, exactly. Exactly. Did you cry at the end, says Obi James? No, I did not. I'm not a crier. Not a crier. Although the Brody Lee tribute episode of Dynamite was incredibly painful to watch. That was man, that was brutal. I will never forget that. I will never forget that night. I saw first as Cody and Dustin pitched that match to Vince for a Mania match when they were in WWE, and Vince turned it down. I know, right? Isn't that crazy? He said that no one would want to watch that. Boy, was he wrong. It won match of the year. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it. All right. Next up here in this Young Bucks segment to continue on, they said that they want to defend their AEW Tag Team Championships, and they're going to be defending them against Santana and Ortiz. And you know, now that I'm talking about this, I think that I remember what I heard there. So they're not defending them against Santana and Ortiz because they're number one, but because they eliminated them, I believe. Is that correct? No, because MJF is the one that eliminated one of the Bucks, but I'm not sure who eliminated the other one. I don't know. Anyways, next week on AEW Dynamite, the Young Bucks are defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships against Santana and Ortiz. Now, this makes things a little interesting, if you ask me. Let's see how long the Bucks have been champions for. Anything could go here. I could see the Young Bucks winning, but at the same time, I could also see Santana and Ortiz winning. And Santana and Ortiz winning kind of sounds like a good idea, to be honest. I saw first says, good night, my fellow wrestling heads. Great show. Hit the like button. Thank you, man. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hopefully I will see you on Friday as well. Let me look here. Let me look. Titles. So they've been champions for 96 days as of today. So add 7 days to that. I'm not mad at them dropping the titles at all. Actually, that's not bad. So maybe we'll see Santana and Ortiz become the new AEW World Tag Team Champions next week on Dynamite. And then that opens a whole can of worms because they had the triple threat tag team match to determine who the official tag team of the Inner Circle is. And MJF and Chris Jericho won that. How interesting would it be for Santana and Ortiz to defeat the Young Bucks and become the tag team champions And then they would have to defend those tag team championships against MJF and Chris Jericho at Revolution. Be very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, I'm checking out this clip. Good Lord. Oh my God. A moonsault styles clash? Whew. Nope. I'm calling in sick. No way. Holy hell. That is crazy. So yeah, there's lots of things here that can come from this title match next week. The Inner Circle is crumbling / everything is fine at the same time. And maybe this could be the next thing. A lot of us have talked about Sammy leaving, and a lot of us have thought that Santana and Ortiz could leave as well. So there you go. Sammy's parted ways. Maybe Santana and Ortiz are next. Maybe we'll see that actually take place at Revolution. And then you just get closer and closer to maybe having MJF take over. I mean, actually, I guess there's not really that many people left at that point. You would have MJF, Chris Jericho, Wardlow, and Jake Hager. But I don't know. Maybe MJF will kick out Chris Jericho and the Inner Circle will somewhat be MJF, Wardlow, and Jake Hager? Question mark? I don't know. Lots of interesting things that can come from this, though. Lots of interesting things. Warrior says some moves just shouldn't be done. A regular styles clash is dangerous enough. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Watching that video was insane. I don't wish that upon anyone. Anyone whatsoever. Next up, we saw a backstage segment here with Hangman Adam Page, and Matt Hardy ended up coming up and chatting with him. Said that he has an open bar for him. And then as Hangman was headed that way, he ran into the Dark Order, and it was kind of awkward and weird. So Dark Order still kind of lost, looking for a leader. Sad that Hangman Adam Page turned them down, and Adam Page is on to the next one here. On to the next one. Flash says Revolution Festival of Friendship 2. Be an interesting one. Next up was Pac taking on Ryan Nemeth, who, yes, this is Dolph Ziggler's brother. This is Uncle Ziggy's brother here. I don't know why people are so fascinated with that, or so weirded out by that Uncle Ziggy has a brother. So I don't quite understand, but he seems to sell pretty good. He seems to fit in pretty well. Maybe he'll get signed by AEW. Maybe he'll stick around. But this match was fairly short from what I remember and made Pac look very good. Still very excited to see Pac back in AEW after the travel ban and all of that stuff. So good to see. Very, very good to see. Next up was a tag team match with MJF and Chris Jericho taking on the Acclaimed. And right before this match, we saw MJF come back with the taped up ribs, selling the punch from Sammy Guevara earlier on backstage. This is funny. I always love the chicken shit heel gimmick. It's always one of my favorites. I've just always been so drawn to it. I think it's funny and I think it's great. So MJF having the taped up ribs and belly here for a punch to his stomach was fantastic. I think it's great. I always love these, and MJF pulls them off extremely well. And it's just kind of funny because almost at the same exact time, we saw Johnny Gargano doing almost the exact same thing over on NXT. So just kind of funny how those lined up there. Let's see here. Chris Jericho and MJF did end up getting the win over the Acclaimed. And while they were celebrating their victory, Sammy Guevara came out and said that he quits. Sammy Guevara has quit the Inner Circle. He is done. After that, he left and he went out of the face tunnel to the right. Now, here's something interesting to talk about as well. They caught up with Sammy Guevara after this, backstage, well, outside of the arena, more so. And they asked him to kind of talk about what was going on. And he said he needs to get away from here for a little bit. So, how do we feel about not seeing an Inner Circle feud with these guys and having Sammy Guevara go on over to Impact for a little bit? Or maybe New Japan Strong, if that's an option. I think that'd be great. Then when things have settled down, he can come back and reignite this feud instead of having it be drawn out. I think that face Sammy Guevara would be a fantastic TNT champion as well. So maybe they could kind of have all of this Darby Allin, Sting, Team Taz stuff all wrapped up sometime before then. I think it's all good. I would be very excited to see Sammy Guevara in Impact, though. It'd be great. I think he'd fit in there perfectly, especially with the X Division Championship. I think he'd fit in that scene very, very well. Anthony says, just got back to hear you say chicken shit. Yeah, I was talking about how much I love the chicken shit heels. I just love that. I've always been attracted to it. It's funny. Next up was another backstage segment here with Hangman Adam Page and Matt Hardy at the bar with the open bar and stuff like that. Matt Hardy was fake drinking, so he was pouring out his drinks, and Hangman was getting wasted. So I did miss this part here. I think I must have looked over to NXT for a brief period of time, but Matt Hardy gave Hangman Adam Page a paper to sign, and Hangman swapped it out for something else, and both of them signed it. So Matt thinks that the paper that Hangman signed was to give him 30% of his earnings, but it wasn't. So we'll kind of see this unfold. So maybe we're going to start seeing a Hangman and Matt Hardy feud. Maybe Hangman is taking 30% of Matt Hardy's money, which means he would be taking money from Private Party as well, essentially. Very interesting. Very interesting to see where this goes. Hangman needs something to do until he can become AEW World Champion. I still am a firm believer in that. Marcelo says, I think Santana and Ortiz will feud with the Inner Circle while Sammy is gone till he comes back. Yeah, I think that'd be great. You could have Santana and Ortiz feud with technically MJF and Chris Jericho, and then when that's all over, you could have Sammy come back and feud with MJF or Chris Jericho at that point. Flash says Sammy versus Manic, who is probably not TJP, is going to be fire. It'd be good, man. It would be good. Chris Bay is very talented as well. Rohit is very talented as well. There's a lot of good people in the X division over there. I'm not so familiar with Impact still, but all of these X division championship matches I've seen have been flames. They've been very enjoyable. Next up was the thing that we talked about, Sting here. So Sting came out for a promo, but Taz and Powerhouse Hobbs interrupted it. They told him that they were going for a ride and they had their friend. And it looks like Team Taz beat up Darby Allin, stuffed him in one of his body bags, and then they were pulling him from an SUV. Crazy. And my caption was, first, Marco Stunt gets kidnapped by FTR, and now this. AEW Dynamite is slowly becoming one of the most dangerous places to be in the entire world. Aside from the Performance Center parking lot, AEW is a close second in a place where you don't want to be. Don't ever go to those places, or something very bad will happen to you. Marcel says, you watching the Impact pay-per-view this Saturday? Oh, that is this Saturday, huh? I'm not sure. It depends on what happens. It's supposed to snow here, so it just depends. We have a lot of stuff that we're trying to do. We're trying to buy a kitchen suite, which is the fridge, the stove, the dishwasher, and a microwave, like buying them all as one so they match. And it's like incredibly hard to find good ones that match and that are in stock. So I'm not sure if I'll be home 100% for that, but I'll definitely, if I'm not home, I'll definitely be checking in to see what happens. If I am home, yes, I'll be watching it, and yes, I will probably cover it. But there probably won't be a post show because of the NXT video and if there's an NXT live stream, that will probably be going on at the same time as that. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that stuff out, but probably no post show for that, but definitely coverage if I'm home. Let's see here. Next up was the main event match of the night, which was absolutely insane to see. Not only was this match good, it was just crazy to see these people in a ring together. KENTA came out first with his IWGP United States Heavyweight Challenger briefcase. So here you have New Japan entering in the scene. Next up was the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, my apologies, Kenny Omega, with Impact's Don Callis. 3 companies right there. Then you have Jon Moxley coming out with his IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Incredible to see as well. Incredible to see on camera. And then you have Lance Archer from AEW as well. So this match was stacked. I missed you're right. I did miss Thunder Rosa because I posted it afterwards. So we will talk about that really quick. Okay, so anyways, this main event match, everyone coming out, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Why the hell is cancel Disney Plus trending? I need my WandaVision. I don't know. I saw that it was trending and I clicked on it, but I didn't want to read through all of it while I was trying to talk. Obi James says, only in AEW where you see a potato being used as an object, right? That was funny. Anyways, before we actually get on to talk about this main event match, I do want to talk about Thunder Rosa versus Legit Layla Hirsch. This is the first match that we've seen for the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. This match did happen before. I just posted it late on accident. I forgot to post it. This match was fantastic, by the way. Thunder Rosa kicks ass. Week in and week out. She always shows up and delivers. But man, Layla Hirsch is fantastic as well. Absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of Layla Hirsch. I think that she could potentially have a bright future in the wrestling world. I hope that she gets signed by AEW. I think she'd be a good fit for them and what they're doing going forward. So I did want to mention that. I liked this a lot. Of course, Thunder Rosa is the one that got the win here. So I actually do want to scroll down to this really quick. Marcel says the entire Japanese women's side is on YouTube on Monday. The whole thing up until the finals, or just the first round? Whew. So Thunder Rosa advances by defeating Layla Hirsch in the first round. And then so she'll either go on to face Serena Deeb or Riho in the next one. The entire first round. Okay, good to know. I do want to watch that. I want to watch that. So I'll have to check that out. And I'll probably cover that as well. I will probably cover that as well. So this is interesting. I think that what I want to happen here is I want Thunder Rosa and Dr. Britt Baker. I want them to go to the finals for the US side. That's what I want to happen. I want them to battle it out in the finals there. And then I don't care who wins. Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker is fine. I have no idea who they would face on the Japan side. I have absolutely no idea who it will be. But I think that whoever wins on the US side, Thunder Rosa or Britt Baker, it has to be one of them. They should become the next AEW Women's World Champion. They should be the one to dethrone Hikaru Shida. That's just me, though. That's just me. All right. Back to the main event here. This main event was fantastic. I loved this main event. It was so good. I'm surprised that it was a sanctioned match, though. I was more so expecting a lights out one. So when they mentioned that, I thought that was pretty odd. They fought ringside. Kenny Omega and Lance Archer destroyed Pretty Peter Avalon's bed at ringside. I think that Archer threw him into it. Then it spilled back into the kitchen. KENTA DDT'd Jon Moxley on top of a set of like steel tables for the kitchen, put on a submission on him. Kenny Omega threw a bag of potatoes at Kenta to not get him off of him. Or sorry, Lance Archer, I believe. Or Kenny Omega threw potatoes on Lance Archer or something. I don't know. Someone threw some potatoes at someone is all I know. So they spilled through, they battled in the kitchen, and then they made their way back to the ring here. Eventually, the Good Brothers came out. Oh, but before then, there was a really cool sequence where it looked like Lance Archer was going to be putting Kenta through the announce table that they had, but Kenta ended up getting away from Lance Archer, and instead of running towards him, he ran sideways, and Moxley was on the timekeeper's table is what I believe, and he stomped on him. So I thought that was really cool. I really liked that sequence. Do you think that the Young Bucks and Kenny will fight again alongside? Probably. Where it says Kenta giving Peter Avalon the go to sleep just cuz. I loved that. Although I wish he would have given it to him and then had Peter fall back on his bed. I thought that would have been cool. But then they probably wouldn't have been able to destroy it. But Marcel says Archer had his best performance here in a while. I thought he was great. Yep. Thought he was great. Swayze says, who do you think is the best in-ring performer right now? Like of all companies? I don't know. Miley says Don Callis is the Paul Heyman to Kenny Omega's Roman Reigns, and I love it. The invisible hand, man. It's pulling all the strings. Obi James says Peter Avalon needed to go to sleep. He was on his bed. Yeah, you can't just be on a bed and not sleeping, right? It's blasphemy. Shingo Takagi. His match that I saw from, what was it that I watched last? Wrestle Kingdom? Was very impressive. Andre says that's a phrase I never thought I would hear. Someone throw a bag of potatoes in a wrestling match. Yeah, someone hit someone with some spuds, all right? At some point. I can't remember exactly. I thought I had nailed it, but then when I was like, Kenny can't hit Kenta, that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so of course Kenny Omega and Kenta end up getting the win here. Things kind of spilled over a little bit though. The Good Brothers ended up coming out and helping them get the upper hand here. Jake the Snake Roberts came in as well and gave Gallows a clothesline, which was pretty cool to see. And then they knocked him down. Or no, he gave one of the Good Brothers a clothesline, and then the other one knocked him down. And it looked like Kenny was going to hit Jake the Snake Roberts with a V trigger while he was down. He went over, did the gunpoint thing, aimed it right at him, went and ran towards the ropes. And when he came back, Jon Moxley had his bat with barbed wire wrapped around it and started taking people out with it. So I liked it. I loved everything about this. I know that AEW does this kind of chaos stuff a lot during all their stuff, but this was an Anywhere Falls match, and this was no rules. So you would definitely expect something like that to happen, especially with the heels, with Kenny Omega and with the Good Brothers. Like, this is something that I expected to happen, and I liked it. At the end of the match, Kenny Omega tried to hit Lance Archer with the one-winged angel, but couldn't quite get him up, so the Good Brothers came over there and helped him lift him so he could drop him down, and that is how they secured the victory here. Something that I thought was a great touch as well is that while Kenny Omega was in the ring beating Lance Archer for the match, Kenta and Jon Moxley were on the floor on the outside, and Kenta was just wailing on Moxley on top of him. I thought that was a really cool touch. To the match. Because, I mean, that's, at the end of the day, that's all that Kenta cares about, right? Beating up Jon Moxley. Warrior says Kenta and Omega pushing each other so that one of them couldn't beat up Mox in the beginning was a nice touch. Yeah, I liked it. I liked everything about this match. I thought it was fantastic. I thought this was an excellent way to close the show. But now I'm just wondering what's next. Does Kenta stay in AEW? Is he going to be a weekly attraction here, or is he going to be gone? Is someone else going to fill in with his spot? that's where it gets kind of like a slippery slope with all of this. If it were me, I probably wouldn't have anyone else on the show for a couple weeks, or maybe a week or two, and then have someone else come in, because then you get that whole must see moment, right? Where it's like, okay, something big happened the last 2 weeks. You can't have something big happen every single week. You'll burn everyone out, right? And you'll burn out all of your storylines and everything that you have. So it's got to be a slow burner. Andre says, who won the match? Kenny Omega and Kenta beat Lance Archer and Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega pinned Lance Archer. Let me see here. I have the matches for next week as well to talk about before we get on out of here tonight. Let's see here. All right, so next week on AEW Dynamite, we have Hangman Adam Page, Matt Hardy, and Private Party taking on the Hybrid 2 and Chaos Project. We also have Serena Deeb, NWA Women's World Champion Serena Deeb versus Riho next week, and that is a match for the AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator Tournament. Also, we have the AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, defending their titles against Santana and Ortiz. And I believe that's it. Another 8-man tag match. Yes. AEW loves to do the 8-mans recently. Have the Tongans invade AEW. I would save that for a while. Marcel says, I think Kenta's not coming to AEW for a bit. Yeah, I think it's probably best not to have anyone else. You can have the Good Brothers on the show, but other than that, I would take them off for maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then start doing something else. You don't want it to become a formula. You don't want it to be predictable. You don't always want it to be the same. You know, I wouldn't even mind if 2 weeks from now, Jon Moxley was in a match. Jon Moxley wins his match. Masked guy comes out, beats the hell out of him, and it's Kenta, and he just kind of disappears. Again, no match, but he's just there to beat up Jon Moxley. Like, I wouldn't mind stuff like that. You know, it needs to be everything that they're doing right now. They can't burn it out. It needs to be special. It still needs to be special. Like I said, you can't have, okay, well, Kenta was on here tonight, so let's bring in Okada next week. Okay, well, Okada had a match now, so let's bring in Kota Ibushi next week and like just burn through all of his stuff. Okay, let's bring in God. Let's bring in Jay White, and let's do this Bullet Club versus Bullet Club match. And then it's like you have 6 weeks of content that have been absolutely incredible. But now what? Now everyone is expecting those things to happen every single week. Nothing is really special, and it just kind of is what it is, right? So the slow burn would be very, very good here. Marcel says, keep Kenta special, keep him off TV. I think the only thing they burnt out is having Sting be there every week. Yeah, they've done Sting way too much. Molly says, when's the Kenta versus Moxley match going to happen? I don't have the date, but I think Marcel probably does. It's going to be on New Japan Strong. And I heard rumors that some stuff went down at New Japan Strong. That's not just the Moxley and Kenta thing. I think there might be something else involved with it too. That's what Sean Ross Sapp was saying on Fightful. No confirmations though, just a rumor. Just a rumor that there might be something else for that. Anyways, yeah, that's going to be a wrap. Tell me the rumors. That's all it was. Just that something else may or may not have happened. I don't know what said thing or things were. That's all they said. He said he wasn't able to, or he hasn't been able to confirm with anyone yet. So we'll see. Maybe it's someone from AEW showing up, but if that's true and this match was filmed in December, that doesn't quite make sense if they just inked a deal right now. So I don't know. Maybe they filmed something else recently. Marcel says Omega interferes so Mox loses. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Andre says, what about the NXT main event? Were you expecting the Grizzled Young Vets to get the win? Kind of. This one was kind of a toss-up for me. These were the final three that I had in my my finals. I figured that MSK would go all the way, and then I wasn't sure if it was going to be the Grizzled Young Veterans or Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. I wasn't quite sure. Flash says MSK or Grizzled Young Veterans. See, I have no idea who would. I think either one of them could win on the men's side. I felt like it was a little too early for MSK, so maybe GYV will be the ones to win that one, but I think that's a toss-up. For the women's one, I think it's pretty easy. I think it's Dakota and Raquel. I think that is the match on the women's side. Warrior says, I'm just glad 2 actual not thrown together tag teams are in the finals. Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see. And I wonder where Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher are going to go from here as well. Are they going to continue on as a tag team, or disband and feud again, or what? It'll be interesting to see. Andre, you think Ember and Shotzi are going to win? I can see him doing it. They like to have non-tag team wins these. But I think Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are the winners for this one. I would have them win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships as well. I think that would be the best bet. But that is just me. You could have Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez on Raw and SmackDown defending them and actually bring some sort of sense and logic to those titles, because ever since they've debuted, they've pretty much just been lost, if you ask me. Andre says the women's who win are getting a shot at the women's tag team titles. Yep. So there you go. There you go. Let's see here. All right. I think that's going to do it. I think that's all for me. So yeah, expect, we will have a Friday Night SmackDown post show for sure. I'm going to work on an Edge and Bianca Belair video tomorrow as well to hopefully get that up, as well as an NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day predictions video as well. So lots of exciting things still to happen this week. I think TakeOver is going to be incredible. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you. Thank you all for tuning in. I really, really, really appreciate it. It's always great sitting here and chatting with you guys. And we're so close to monetization. So close. I also unlocked YouTube posts the other day, which was kind of interesting. So look out for those as well. I might test those out a little bit more. There's already a post there, and it's not very exciting. But if you see it, let me know, because I would love to test those a little bit more. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all on Friday for the SmackDown post show. Have a good rest of your night. Peace.